The state of Western Australia accounts for 30% of the area, hosting a population of only 2 million people. Our trip began in Perth, the state's capital. Next we flew up the coast to Exmouth to swim with the whale sharks, and on to Broome for sun, sand, sea and pearls. Then we flew to Darwin, Crocodile Dundee country, ending with a 5-day helicopter tour of the vast Kimberley Plateau region. Perth, bordering on the Swan River, is reputed to be one of the safest major cities in the world. This is an outdoor city and a boating city with a warm, sunny climate. The North Ridge section is a great place to wander the streets, winding up at one of its fine restaurants or outdoor cafes. Just down the river is another great boating city, Fremantle, which hosted the America's Cup race some years ago. About 20 miles off the coast of Fremantle lies the island of Rottnest, rat's nest in Dutch. This misnomer comes from the large population of small marsupials called quokkas, which inhabit the island and delight the tourists. Just north of Perth is a water park, complete with a dolphin pen used to rehabilitate these animals before returning them to the wild. During our stay in Exmouth, we spent each day aboard this 60-foot vessel searching for the largest fish in the sea, the whale shark. There were 7 of us and a crew of 4, including Robert, a very courageous young man who lost the use of both legs in a motorcycle accident. He subsequently learned to dive and with the help of one of the crew members took part in this exciting adventure. When the spotter plane flying overhead located a shark, we would board the Zodiac, intercept its path, and slip into the water to await its arrival. Peggy is the first in the water and will shortly point in the direction of the shark. Generally, we located 2 to 3 each day, spending up to 1 hour with each fish. The music may be a little dramatic, but folks, this is the thrill of a lifetime. Each year, during the coral spawning season in March and April, about 200 whale sharks, measuring 30 to 50 feet in length, come out of the Indian Ocean to feed in these nutrient-rich waters. They are plankton eaters and are often just as curious as we are. Little is known of these gentle giants, a 150 million-year-old species which needs to swim in order to stay afloat. This shot provides a good perspective on their size. That's Robert being pushed along by one of the dive masters. Keeping up with these migrating sharks is a very tiring experience, and we would often fall back to be picked up by the Zodiac driver, who would then place us in the water in front of the shark. The tag was placed on this shark by one of the limited number of researchers allowed in the area. In fact, the number of divers allowed to swim with the whale sharks is regulated by local law. Exhausted, we swim back to the boat for lunch and an afternoon dive if there are no sharks in sight. Seven Spirits Bay is located on the far north tip of the Woburg Peninsula, not far from Darwin. This is Crocodile Dundee country, part of a large park area covered with monsoonal forests, which exhibit dense jungle foliage during the rainy season. Ecologically in tune with its surrounding, Seven Spirits Bay is a unique resort sporting a 5-star gourmet restaurant. Early morning neighbors include a wallaby, a small cousin of the kangaroo, and a 3-foot monitor lizard. We're off on a boat ride up a small mangrove-lined river in search of crocodiles. And of course, we found them. This menacing-looking saltwater crocodile, or salty, is the most dangerous animal in the sea. They grow to 25 feet in length and are often found 100 miles upriver. They are cunning and extremely dangerous, in sharp contrast to the freshwater crocodile, which is benign and no threat to humans. More than 1,500 miles of northern Australian coast is off limits to swimmers because of the ever-present population of salties. This was our transportation for the time we spent exploring the vast Kimberley region, a rough terrain filled with magnificent waterfalls, gorges, million-acre cattle stations, and very precious minerals, including gold, diamonds, and uranium. Alan Clark was our pilot, guide, and very hospitable companion for the 5 days spent exploring this awesome terrain. We flew 2 to 5 hours each day in the helicopter, staying at hotels each night, including 2 nights at the magnificent El Questro homestead. This is a shot of Twin Falls, followed shortly by footage of Catherine Gorge and Jim Jim Falls, located in the Kakadu National Park. There are few towns with gas stations in the Kimberley region, so Alan and other pilots place 50-gallon drums at strategic locations so that they can refuel in the barren stretches. This is a shot of a uranium mine, obviously off limits, as is the diamond mine shown shortly. This region is famous for its pink and champagne-colored diamonds. Some of the land containing these precious deposits will revert back to the Aborigines in a few years, so the mining effort goes on round the clock. You guessed it, the Crocodile Hotel in Kakadu National Park. Early morning boat ride to catch the sunrise in Kakadu National Park. Excessive rains at the end of the rainy season left most of the park flooded. We are cruising the parking lot right now, looking for crocodiles. Signs like this were sighted several times during our trip. This one decided to sun himself on the boat ramp. It's a salty, despite the fact that we are more than 100 miles from the ocean. He was not thrilled by our intrusion and showed us his full size by raising his back out of the water, a hostile gesture warning us that this is his territory. It was very convenient to land right on the back lawn of our motel in Kununurra, one of the largest towns in the Kimberley region. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, this region was under the sea, and caves were formed in the sandstone rock formations as the ocean receded. This land, which contains numerous examples of primitive cave art dating back 5,000 to 10,000 years, is sacred, superstitious, and off-limits to the Aborigines. As the cave walls eroded, the rock art became exposed. Note the 6-fingered hand. climb up the rock face has its rewards in the icy cold water of this small waterfall. The next part of our journey took us over the Ord River Irrigation Project, the largest of its kind in the world. Thousands of acres were flooded to provide irrigation to the farms and towns in this part of the arid Kimberley region. This one small dam, strategically placed, did it all. The outflow of the project flows into the Kununurra River. The wonderful granite formations shown here make up the Bungle, another sacred region for the Aborigine. This is the last leg of our helicopter journey on our way to the magnificent Questro homestead, a 1 million acre cattle station located in the heart of the Kimberley. A tight landing at the edge of the homestead, which was our home for the next 2 days. Questro is a private home. The English owners, who were off on their honeymoon the week we were there, rent out the 12 guest rooms during the dry season. The rooms were elegant and spacious. Chamberlain Gorge, which flowed just below our balcony, added to the lovely view. We were the only guests during our stay, so we had our choice of menu, including candlelit dinners served outside every evening. Yes, we used the bathtub. Just outside the homestead, this hot water spring provided a natural hot tub in lush, palm-treed surroundings. Fishing for barramundi is a local pastime, so Alan took us by helicopter to his favorite spot, nestled in a natural amphitheater formed by the sandstone formation. We didn't catch any fish, but we were visited by the small water lizard. The last few days of our trip were spent at the Cable Beach Resort in the coastal city of Broome, famous for the best quality pearls in the world. We spent most of our time on the beach, since saltwater crocodiles are very rare this far down the coast. Camels were brought to Australia many years ago to help build roads and railroads across the desert. Now they form part of the entertainment at Cable Beach. A wonderful ending to a wonderful adventure.